If you haven't watched the first two videos, Part 1 and Part 2 of the introduction to the opening of the book, I strongly recommend you do before watching this video first, explaining what not the human body is. In the beginning nothing existed, and if you ask a human scientist or academic, where and how everything came from nothing, they can't provide an answer, because they are unaware of life, the real self, and only know the avatar, the human body. Nothing is actually something, or we would not be able to refer to it. So, what is this nothing? As the word implies, it is no thing. Where the existence of nothing becomes something, it is when a location is defined for the presence of nothing. This why we say regarding an empty container in a vacuum, there is nothing in the container. Nothing is a paradox. Because nothing is something, even though present in the form of a concept, it still exists, and because it exists, allows it to become aware. When it became aware, or awoke, the first thing it did was search outwardly from its origin to become aware of what may exist outwardly from itself. By doing this, produced the concept of the outer, with the origin becoming the inner. This is why everything that exists has both an inner and an outer, and this phenomenon plays a primary role in the processing system of life and everything that exists. When awareness became aware of this phenomena, it then tried to discover what existed outwardly from its origin, followed the concept of exploring along a linear projection. But there was a problem. It could not travel along this concept without first locking in the location of its origin. While trying to find a solution, it became self-aware. At first, awareness could only search out what was in front of it. This is how awareness discovered self-awareness, shown in this animation I have repeated a few times, so you can see this phenomena. The black and white is the data, and the bright and whiter disk you see immediately after the black disappears into infinity, or taken away, is the self-awareness. When the black passes away, it leaves nothing regarding the black disk on the outer white background. So, we are actually seeing the nothing in the form of a bright and whiter disk than the white of the background of the outer. So now, awareness was aware of the concept of two states. One, being awareness, the other, self-awareness. So now it had solved the issue. This is, when conceptually, it was able to separate these two within itself. And just as it is written in the book of Genesis in chapter 1, verses 1 to 3, quote, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light." Note that the heaven was produced first, then the earth, and not the other way around. Note, at this stage, the earth was without form and void. In other words, the earth did not exist, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The deep does not refer to the seas on the earth, as at this stage, the earth did not exist. So, what is this face of the deep, and the waters are all about? If viewed from the origin, looking outward, there was no defined distance in front of it, so this phenomenon refers to depth. Regarding the waters, this is referring to the granular texture. Note in the book of Genesis, it is written, "And darkness was upon the face of the deep." Darkness is not a lack of light, nor black, as human scientists falsely claim, but involves a mixture of black and white, lacking contrast between the two. Awareness was aware of this, so it separated the gray by taking one component away from the other, producing black and white separately. As awareness searched out in front of itself, it only found nothing, and as a result fear was experienced, and eventually caused the awareness to return to its origin. And as the fear settled down, awareness found its equilibrium. And on doing so, found the courage to try it again, but fear drove back the awareness to its origin once again. After repeating this a number of times, it could only be aware of fear, while observing, and peace when it returned to its origin, but it became aware of the action, of to and fro. So self-awareness then, conceptually rotated the action to view its side on, and this appeared recording its action, of to and fro. Shown here in this animation. Keeping your eyes firmly focused on the left-hand end of the black line, and at the same time notice the bright white light, located next to, and following the right hand of the black line, as it returns to the left-hand end. The bright white light you see is self-awareness, while the black is the data. When the black, representing awareness, was rotated about its center, away from the origin, which produced a conceptual geometric plane, in the form of a disk, having a black face. This resulted in the conceptual geometric plane, having a gap, between it, and the origin. Self-awareness then conceptually flipped the disk over, to view the rear face of the geometric plane. The second face, was changed to white. It is not possible for a conceptual geometric plane, to have less than two faces. So, now awareness is aware of a conceptual geometric plane in the form of a disk, having one of its faces being black, and its other face being white. This animation shows the flipping of the geometric plane. In the next video of this series, I will show how self-awareness writes to the disk-shaped geometric plane.